So the little princess had a dentist appointment this morning, and there were a couple of times when she winced, and I kind of cringed and started wondering if maybe I'm a little too overprotective. All right, guys, I got a question for you. How far, how, what's the right way to phrase this? Is there such thing as being too protective as a mom? Let me tell you the story. Um, it must have been about at least 5 or 6 years ago. Um, one of the girls from my first marriage, one of my daughters from my first marriage, she must have been about 18 or 19, and she went through a real struggle after the divorce. She really struggled with everything, and got depressed and started cutting, and you know that's her story. But anyhow, um, I was separated from my second husband, um, and I don't even remember the situation, but there was a guy that I was working with, um, and he came by my place one day to help with something, and my oldest was, she wasn't living with me, but she was visiting. We were talking, and she had shorts on. So the guy that I was with, saw the scars, and he slapped her leg where she had the scars. And I just completely flipped. I am usually a very passive person. I'm not an aggressive person. I don't tend to overreact. I tend to be very passive and kind of more quiet. I will watch and I will defend myself, but I have to get pushed pretty far or pretty hard before I will really respond with any kind of aggression, despite my background that my family and friends may know about. I know how to fight and I know how to defend myself when the need arises. But in this situation particularly, I got so upset when he slapped her leg. I lost it. I was so furious. I couldn't believe first that he would strike a child who, she really wasn't even a child at that point. She was an adult, but she was still a child to me. She was still, my daughter. And so that was kind of the first trigger. And the second trigger was that he would punish her, because it was like a punishment, like he was judging her for the cuts. So I couldn't believe that he would punish her for something that she had already punished herself for, that she was suffering from depression and stress and had hurt herself, and then he felt the need to hurt her again. It was so enraging to me that I lashed out before I even thought about what I was doing, and struck him down, actually completely, it's kind of embarrassing now, but I actually leveled him to the ground, and I felt, afterwards I felt a lot of shame. But I'm wondering now, as I think back on some of the what happened and everything, I wonder, is there such thing as being too protective of our children? You hear people say, that they're coddling their kids and they're, overprotective parents, and it's kind of a joke, but is there a time and a place for that type of behavior? I don't know. I am such a passive person in general. I don't know. What do you think? Tell me what you think. Is there a time and a place for violence in our world today? You see a lot of it in the news. You see a lot of violence. But I wonder, in a situation like this, is it warranted, or is it bad to overreact and show our kids that sort of retaliatory violence? Does it teach them something bad? Does it teach them to overreact themselves and kind of create a perpetual violent cycle? I don't know. What do you think? Is there such thing as being too protective? I don't know. Tell me what you think.
Please give video a thumbs up and like and subscribe.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.